Basketball doesn't last forever, but the lessons do. I'm Nick Crossan, owner of EBC Training Centers, and this is Purpose Over Points, a podcast filmed inside EBC, the heart of Washington's premier training center. Purpose Over Points stands apart from your traditional basketball podcasts by blending coaching education, mentorship, storytelling, and the importance of family and community connection. It's not just about developing athletes, it's about developing people. Here we talk about life after basketball and what happens when the points stop adding up and the real scoreboard becomes your character, your purpose, and your growth. Welcome to another episode of Purpose Over Points. I am your host, Nick Crossan. Today's guest is a very good friend of mine, Michael Smith, one of the most experienced and respected basketball officials and evaluators in the Pacific Northwest. Michael brings over 25 years of officiating experience at nearly every level of the game, from high school, community college, Division III, Division II, NAIA, and Division I women's basketball. He's worked numerous conferences and postseason tournaments, served as a crew chief, clinician, camp instructor, and has been consistently rated among the top officials in multiple conferences. Beyond officiating, Michael now plays a major role in developing and evaluating officials, currently serving as an observer for the GNAC, NAIA, Division III, and community college levels. Michael is also an owner of One Pivotal Move, where he has a passion for leadership, communication, and growing people to impact the game beyond the whistle. Today, we're diving into Michael, not only as a person, but also how he's an amazing mentor to helping players, parents, and coaches better understand the officiating side of the game. Welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Wow. Michael
and I go back probably 10 plus years from now, and I vividly remember him, not only because of just who he is, but he's got an amazing personality. I'm excited for whoever's listening, you're going to get a lot better at understanding not only the officiating side of things, but who Michael is. He just had a recent birthday. We want to celebrate that. And I personally love you, man. I can't thank you enough for everything.
I love you too.
You've done so many things for myself, our family, people. Yeah, we want to tap into the basketball side and all that stuff, but I want to definitely make sure to celebrate you because
Thank you, my friend.
You're special. You're very special at what you do. And that was the immediate connection that I had with you 10 plus years ago when I was a young coach, still a very young coach, but I was really young then. I was more fiery even back then. But the way you communicated, the way that you present yourself, the way that you're just calm, cool, and collective was something that I was like, man, this guy's so different than everybody else. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart just for your friendship, your mentorship, and everything that you do for people. So thank you for doing this.
Hey, it's mutual.
Absolutely. I just also want to talk about a little about yourself. Introduce yourself as far as where did Michael Smith start in his journey of life? We've had multiple conversations about a lot of things. I want people to know who you are and your mother, who's an amazing mother, your father, everything. I want people to kind of understand the background of Michael Smith, where you were raised.
Well, I grew up in Lakewood, so South Tacoma. My military brat, I guess that's what you call me, a military brat. My dad was in the Army, grew up in Brooklyn, New York. My mother grew up in Montgomery, Alabama as a retired elementary school teacher.
Amazing.
So she taught second grade for 45 years.
Wow.
And we came to Fort Lewis, which is now Joint Base Lewis McChord. We came to Fort Lewis in the early 60s. I think I was 2 years old. My parents, being from where they were, they saw the Northwest as an opportunity to raise a young black kid in a place where maybe I'd get some opportunities that I wouldn't have gotten in the South. And so my dad retired from the military, got a job in the post office. My mom was teaching the Tacoma Public School District, and that was kind of my introduction. That's how I kind of got started. Lakes High School was my high school.
Yeah.
And from there, I went over and played a little football at Washington State, then transferred to the University of Puget Sound, where I got my degree back in 1984. I should probably cover my mouth and say that, 1984. And I thought I wanted to be a stockbroker.
Okay.
I had watched a movie and thought that is a really cool gig, and then found out that job is really hard. And so, I tried to figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up, and I kind of, was in retail for a while, and I've had some interesting jobs along the path till I got to this place. But I think being a sports guy, I always wanted to do something in the sports world.
Yeah.
And so everything has kind of led my way through the sports world to where I am today.
Yeah, absolutely. When did basketball enter your life?
Oh, Nick, I loved the game of basketball probably from an early age.
Yeah.
Obviously at 5'7", your opportunities to do it
Sure.
at the college level were not there. But
Yeah.
I've loved the game and played, kind of like the story I was telling you earlier.
Yeah.
Loved the game. It was cool, the competition. I think sports and the competition. And I played sports because it gave me those tools. But gosh, I've loved basketball my whole life.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I do want to tap in a little bit on the officiating side of things. Can you tell me how you got into that? What drew you into that side of things? Because it's a big piece of who you are in small bits.
Well, I tell that story often when people ask that question. I was playing on a men's rec league in Tacoma.
Yeah.
It was a rainy February Monday night. We were playing the last game of the night, 8:45 at Lincoln High School. And we were the first place team playing the last place team. We were talking as a team about getting to the bar after the game. And I think that's kind of how we started playing the game, thinking we're going to blow these guys out. Well, if you let that team hang around long enough, what should have been a blowout became really competitive. The officials we had that night, let's just say they were worse than bad. And I mean worse than bad. We ended up going into overtime, and fortunately we won. As I'm sitting on the bleachers taking my shoes off, one of the officials sits down next to me and says, "Great game," pats me on the thigh. And I said, "Well, at least one of us can say that." And he said, "What?" And I said, "You were horrible." Because I knew he couldn't give me a technical foul at that point. So let me just tell you how I really feel about what you did. And he said, "Well, if you think we can do better, our association meets every other Sunday at 4:30, Franklin Pierce High School." So the next Sunday I went to Franklin Pierce High School and signed up to be a referee.
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that.
And that started my journey.
I love it. We all do that, right? But there's a moment in there where someone hits us with something and you kind of get challenged and you go, all right. As a competitor, you're going to go, well, let me see how easy this is.
Let me
can't be
try
that.
this.
Yeah, let me try this.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
At what moment when you did start to officiate? Obviously, when you start, you're learning, you're trying to understand the game from a different perspective. At what point did it click for you that, okay, refereeing a basketball game is important, but there's a bigger reason to why I want to try to get into this refereeing thing?
Well, your competitive nature kicks in because you want to be good.
Yep.
I went through the first 2 years with a different mindset. And the mindset was, man, you can make some money doing this. But I wasn't really trying to get better.
Yeah.
I was just making the money.
Yeah.
And someone said you need to go to a camp, and that's where you're going to really learn in the off season. And I went to a WOA camp, which is the Washington Officials Association camp. I happened to be in Bellingham at Western Washington University. And I went to camp, and it was 3 days. I think there were 60 referees there. My last day was up in Court C, upstairs at Western. It's no longer there, but back in the old Carver gym. And there was a gentleman by the name of Larry Johnson who was watching our game. And when the game ended, my partner walked off and he waved me over. And I remember putting my elbows on the wrestling mats. And he said, "I want to have a conversation with you because your name has come up quite frequently over the course of the last 3 days." And I thought, oh, that's a good thing. So his first question was, "So Michael, how many games have you refereed this past season?" And with a badge of honor, I said 350. And he said, "That's about what I thought." And it was his tone that told me that 350 wasn't a good thing.
Yeah.
It was a bad thing.
Interesting.
And he said, "Well, do you realize that you were the 61st best referee at this camp? There were only 60 on the list."
Yeah.
And he goes, "That's my point."
Wow.
And I thought, wow, I was that bad. He said, "Oh yeah, you're bad." He said, "But I see some things in you, and I'm willing to put some time in to help you, but you're going to have to be willing to want to help yourself."
Absolutely.
And so, I can say this to you, my friend, is that when that conversation ended, my eyes were kind of brimming with tears because he had really hit my manhood right
100%.
square.
Yep.
And as I walked out to the car, I had to get my emotions together.
Absolutely.
It was a long drive from Bellingham to Tacoma. But I did a lot of soul searching. And when I got to Tacoma, I said, you know what? I really want to put the time and energy into this. And that kind of changed how I looked at officiating basketball.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's amazing because when I just hear the beginning and the end of that story, it's funny how life comes full circle, because that same message that you just heard where they're telling you you're at the bottom of the totem pole. You have this long drive home to Tacoma, and I know in your mindset you're saying, F these guys, I'm gonna prove them wrong. And it's amazing because I think that's a huge reason why you've been one of the biggest mentors of my life, because of that connection immediately right there of the competitive side. But it's amazing how you have come around, and that mentorship role, I feel like God was like getting you ready for in that moment, because of it's what you do today for me. Just speaking just for me, I can speak for that firsthand experience. I know you do it for a lot of people, but for myself, I know exactly, like I see it on a day-to-day, and it's amazing just to start that and to feel that way. You should feel good about who you are, because like you are, again, you're a special man, and I really mean that. Like the full circle stuff that you do, and I can't wait to dive into this more when we get to talk about officiating and who Michael is, and just again, kudos to what you do.
Thank you, my friend. I think that's a blessing. The game is a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a gift, and we all should treat the game that way, because for some of us, we're not in it for a long time.
Yes.
So, we don't play forever, and those who don't play coach.
Yeah.
And, for us as former players, we transition to officials, and, and then there's another space after that.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
What's one of your hardest emotional times for you as an official in your career?
Great question, Nick. Hardest. If you really sit down and talk to our referees, we don't want to determine the outcome.
Absolutely.
As much as fans and players think that we do, we don't. We don't want to determine that. I had a game at OIT, Oregon Institute of Technology, down in Southern Oregon, and they were playing Northwest University. The previous coach there, Ken, their team was a game or two out of first place. They had gone on a 6 or 7 game win streak. We have them. They have a young lady in the post that's about 6'4", and she's dominating. And OIT has nothing for her, absolutely nothing. And they make this comeback, and with about 8 seconds to go in the game, he calls a timeout. And we're going to inbounds the ball at the 28-foot mark, bench side. Crew comes together. We start discussing what could and couldn't happen. And in that timeout, it's let's make sure that we know that it's a 3 versus a 2, those kinds of things. I get ready. I inbounds the ball. The girl, I'm counting, and I'm looking into the post because I know that's where the ball's going.
Right.
And the ball gets inbounded. The girl throws the ball to the post player, and she overthrows her. And as she overthrows her, for some reason, I turn back and look at Ken, who's standing there giving a timeout sign.
Absolutely.
I'm like, well, that's late.
Yeah.
Ball goes out of bounds, and he's going, Michael, timeout. I go, you still want it? He goes, yeah, I've been calling timeout. I went, oh, no. So the ball goes out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
So now OIT gets it. They end up taking the length of the floor. They end up winning the game. Northwest loses. They go on to miss the playoffs by 1 game. That night, the crew and I had gone out to dinner. We were discussing that situation. I asked my center official, did you see him calling timeout? He says, nope, he never called timeout. So at 1 a.m., the game gets uploaded to Huddle. We download it. We immediately fast forward to the last minute of the game, and we get to that 8 seconds. And as soon as the ball gets inbounded to the guard, he immediately gives the timeout sign.
Wow.
He immediately gives it, except I'm not looking at it.
Right.
I'm looking at the play.
Right.
And he never stops giving the timeout sign. And I turn back, he's still doing it. So now I realize that my center official didn't actually see it.
Right.
We just impacted the game because we didn't call the timeout. I felt so bad that when I got home that Sunday night, I wrote an email. And I wrote an email first to all of the officials in our college group saying, don't do what I just did. I clipped the play and sent it. And then I apologized to Ken. Feeling horrible, Nick. I was beside myself. I get an email the next day, and it's Ken saying, I would take you every single night. The reason we lost the game wasn't because you didn't see the timeout. The reason we lost the game is we turned the ball over X amount of times in the course of this game and didn't deserve to win. But please don't beat yourself up. So that would have been the biggest situation for me. I know there were probably other ones, but that one was one where, oh my God, I know I impacted
Yes.
your ability to move on. And we got feelings.
Yeah, 100%.
So, we don't like to make mistakes.
There's a huge learning moment there for everyone who's listening and watching on a lot of that, because we talk about this all the time, the communication piece of it, and we also talk about just the human side of it, right? Like,
yes.
We're all humans. I'm on the sidelines as a coach, I'm a human. You are official, you're a human.
Yeah.
But there is this very fine line that either a coach will cross or an official will cross, where it makes that relationship hard. I think the coolest thing about that story is, and I think it's a rare thing, is how your crew goes back, owns it, and goes, yep, and we missed it. Mm-hmm. And then the beautiful thing is that coach doesn't put the blame on you, because any basketball coach knows that one call does not make or break a game, in my opinion. Sure, could it be a big moment? Absolutely. But it's not going to be the defining thing, because there's also a lot of things during the course of a game that maybe sometimes could get to that point from a coach's perspective. The respect that you have, I think it just, again, it goes to show it's because of who you are and how you communicate is why so many people respect you on the sidelines, or the people that work with you. You're very easy to work with because of your communication skills. I want to talk about real time when you are officiating. And the game is fast. Mm-hmm. It is going and it's moving. Can you talk about real time, some examples of making decisions in a true game moment on what goes through your thoughts and what maybe some things that you're looking at in a real time of a basketball game?
Like a player, repetition allows you the latitude to make decisions in real time that are so seamless that other people don't recognize that you've made that decision. And there's no substitution for repetition.
Absolutely.
Right? And the ability to recognize that number 34 has 3 fouls and number 11 only has 1. Mm-hmm. And we need 33 in the game.
Yeah.
And they're next to each other. Can I put the foul on 11 and keep that player in the game?
That's a big time move there.
The subtleties and the nuances of the game, and how we try to make those things work. Realizing that players and coaches have emotions and feelings, trying to read those things, reading body language.
Yes.
Something that I tell referees all the time. I think it's something that applies to life. Whatever your personal inadequacies are in life are magnified between the 4 lines. Mm-hmm. So if you're not a really good communicator in your real life, then you don't all of a sudden become a great communicator between these 4 lines. Yeah. And if you're not really a team person and you don't play well with the sandbox with others, then you don't necessarily do that between these 4 lines. Mm-hmm. So officiating, much like life, is challenging us to be better at the things we're not so good at.
Yes.
And I would like to think after 25 years running up and down the court, I'm a better communicator than I was now almost 30 years ago. Yeah. Because I've had those different experiences. But I think it is navigating the moment. Mm-hmm. And do I need to put a foul on that play? Can I get away with this? Yeah. Last night I was observing a crew and I said to one of the officials, you had an offensive foul at this point in the second quarter. It was a little running into a big. Yeah. And you gave it the offensive foul. I said, could we have gotten away with the travel? Because when she turned and saw the girl, she actually did travel and then ran. She goes, yeah. I said, so the lesser of 2 evils would have been the travel. Yeah. As opposed to the foul. But that's repetition and that's experience. Yes, it is. That tells me that. Mm-hmm. So that would be the example that I would try to give.
I love it. Let's talk about a missed call. So just like we talk about, you're human. Yeah. And I think people don't understand the magnitude of a missed call from a refereeing standpoint, as far as how you feel when you make it and you go, oops, that was the wrong call. In my experience, even from a coach's perspective, it's the same type of thing, right? It's like, oops, wrong sub, I got to get to the next play. But how do you handle that missed call situation?
Well, I think it goes back to something I said earlier. It's the repetition and it's the experience level. Yeah. Am I angry when I miss a call? Yes. Mm-hmm. Am I angry when I get fooled and I put a whistle on something that shouldn't be there? Yes. Mm-hmm. And I do have that mental checklist of, did I go through my procedures the right way? Because the reason why officials miss calls is because we're out of position. Yeah. It's never about fatigue.
No.
It's about being out of position.
Yep.
And when you're out of position, then you're surprised.
Yeah.
And when you get surprised, you got a 50-50 chance of getting it right.
Yeah.
So if I get you in the right position, then I got a better chance of getting this thing right.
Yes.
And so those are the things that I process when I blow a call.
Yeah.
And when I miss it, I'm quick to get to you
Yep.
and say, you know what, Nick, I missed that one.
Yep.
Now, what I do know is that you're probably happy that I admitted to it, but I can't come back to you 3 or 4 more times and say that to you.
Correct.
But I have to acknowledge that I made a mistake,
Yeah.
that I missed something.
Yes.
It allows us to move on from that.
Yeah.
I think one of the issues that my brethren have now is our inability to admit when we're wrong.
Yeah. That's a whole. That's not just an official thing. That's
Yeah.
coaches.
Yeah.
That's players. That's people running the clock.
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
It's everybody.
Oh,
it's
tough.
everybody.
Sports is difficult. And again, we have hundreds or thousands of people watching us between these 4 lines. And everyone up there that are watching can see the mistakes
Yes.
a lot easier than
Way easier.
we are down
Yeah,
here.
and
So,
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
Real-time stuff is hard.
oh gosh,
Yeah, it's a hard thing. And
It
think
is.
I think it's really important just for people to understand just the preparation that officials go through and what they do. And I think it's really important that, and including myself, because I am nowhere near perfect on that sideline.
Oh, heck no,
But I
it's
think
not.
it's important for people to understand that officials are human. And like you said, your goal to go into a game is not to blow it or to have one team win than the other. Your team is just to officiate the game the best that you can do it. And I think the more common we get to that, the better our game is going to continue to grow. And I remember vividly you telling me when you did miss a call, and someone who is like a high-strung on the sidelines person, when our official will come to me and say, hey, I missed it, but don't worry, I got you. That immediately, to be honest with you, shuts me up for the rest of the game, because you go, oh, he's human just like I am.
Exactly.
We're on the same page.
Exactly.
Let's keep it going.
Oh.
And so I think it's huge. It is really, really, really huge. As we have a lot of people who listen, as far as there's a map, like all over different ages, people that are kids, players, parents, older people. I want to kind of just talk about communicating with officials in different components of the game. I want to first hit on the player side. What are some of the best ways players should be communicating to you as an official?
Well, I think the job of the official is to start that relationship, and that starts at the captain's meeting.
Okay.
Is to try to befriend at least one player on each team. Because when you do that, now you have an advocate to go to a player when they're upset and say, hey, Nick, your teammate is really, really close to getting one.
Yep.
Can you take care of that for me? And if you've done your homework early and communicated with them early, you never have to put your fingers together and call a T. You never have to do that. We're not bigger than the game.
Right.
We're a component of the game.
Yes.
And so when we can have dialogue, I'm going to talk you out of fouls in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to put those fouls in the game.
Yep.
I might drift into the second quarter talking to you about a foul.
Yeah.
Then after that, we're calling them.
Yep. It's on you.
Now it's on you.
Yep.
Because I've expressed to you that was a foul.
Yes.
And you've decided to still do it. Here's the consequence.
I love it. No,
So-
I love it. From a player's perspective, when we're communicating as a player and you hear all different types of levels of kids and how they communicate, which is an extremely important part of the job, what immediately shuts you down? And I'll be honest, like knowing you, I know that it would take a lot for you to actually shut down and not communicate.
Yeah.
But maybe just from your experience, either working with others, as you're looking down and watching games and you see officials, everybody's different. But what do you think is one of the main things that's going to make an official just completely shut that kid off?
I think it's the tone.
Yeah.
It's how you say what you say to an official. We realize that there's emotion involved in the game, but I think it's just the way you come to me and ask me something. I always tell coaches, pose things in a question form, not a statement.
Yeah. Don't.
Question.
Yeah.
And allow me then to elaborate on an answer for you. I realize, Nick, as you and Aaron are coaching, is that you're the advocate for your team. And so the questions you're asking is not because you want to be combative with me as an official. You want to be able to tell your players, hey, here's the adjustment. What we realize is that every basketball game is different.
Absolutely.
There are common threads there,
Yeah.
but it's different because you've got two different teams and you've got three different officials with three different personalities. There are some nights that hand checking is going to be a big thing.
Yes. Yep.
There's going to be some night that screens are going to be a big thing. And then there are going to be nights where the official is really hell-bent on you staying in the coach's box.
Yep.
And your assistant coach is being seen and not heard. I don't tend to subscribe to some of that stuff.
Yeah, it's
But again, it's experience.
part of the game.
Yeah, but it's part of the game.
Yeah.
But I think with your players, it's posing a question. You want your players to befriend us as much as we want to befriend them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's hit the coach's side of it. For me, this is a good one
My favorite.
because I need work on all aspects of this thing.
Oh, you're good.
Same way. How do coaches, I wouldn't call it challenge, but like you said, you want to phrase things in questions. So what are some examples that you've heard from coaches that were great examples or things that you like to hear as an official when there is a question when it comes to a call or a situation?
Michael, how could we do that differently? I will tell a coach, for example, a legal screen. Coach is now about time and distance.
Okay.
The reason that was time and distance, or their legs were outside of their frame.
Yep.
Those are visual things that coaches get immediately, and they can now instruct their player, hey, get your arms in, get your knees in. That's why that was illegal. And it's simple.
Yeah.
It's, well, why was that a block as opposed to a charge? Did not establish legal guarding position before the contact happened. They're simple answers.
Yes.
Right? And you can visualize, okay, we didn't get there in time. Absolutely. You didn't get there in time. And we can keep it moving.
Yeah.
We as officials can't take things personally.
Yeah.
But we do.
Yeah.
And that's the human element of this. We take things personal. I wish I could tell you that every official flushes every game that they have with East Lake and they come back with a fresh slate.
Yeah.
But they don't.
Yeah.
If I had a difficult time with Nick the last time, I'm coming in and I'm starting at that spot.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but it's what happens.
It's human.
It's human nature.
Yep.
If you have the opportunity as an official to flush that, I always encourage them. Hey, that was last week. Let that go. There's a guy at Auburn Mountain View. His name's Chris Carr. Chris is the athletic director. He's been there for years. He was the coach there, but I first met him when he was the girls coach at Kent Lake. And I think in the first 5 times I had him refereeing him, I had given him a technical in every game.
Wow.
And he was the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the assigner kept sending me back there. And every time he sent me back there, I kept giving him technical fouls. We were playing a loser-out game at Foss. They were playing Bethel. And it was not much left to go in the game. My partner wanted to give him a technical foul. And I chose to go over there and be good cop. So I walked over and I said, my partner really wants to give you one. So I really need you to talk to me and not try to go over there. And he said, okay, I got it. So he ended up putting his best player on the free throw line with 9 seconds to go. And she was a 91% free throw shooter, shooting 1 and 1. They're down 1. So she goes to the line and she misses the front end of the 1-and-1, and they lose the game. My partners and I get into the locker room afterwards. We shower. As we're coming out, here I see Chris Carr and his staff walking towards us, and there's no out. For me to get to my car, I got to pass him.
Yes.
And we got to him, and I'm expecting this confrontation because they just lost. And he said, I just want you to know that's the best referee game we had all year. And I said, but you lost. He said, my best free throw shooter since 91% from the field, and you put her on the line with 9 seconds to go.
That's a good situation for him.
It's great for me.
Yeah.
I went, oh my goodness. And so their season's over. Next week, I'm at the state tournament at the Tacoma Dome. I sit with him and his staff for a couple of days, and we just talk.
Yes.
And I end up finding out that he said, every time you walked into my gym, I turned to my staff and said, we're going to have a well-officiated game. And I said, yeah, but I gave you technical fouls every time I had you. He says, but Michael, the technical fouls you gave weren't because of something you did. It was something your partner did, and you stuck up for them. And I thought about it, and I went, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He said, you're my favorite. And I'm not just telling you that.
Yeah.
He is one of my best friends to this day. We tell that story often. I told him, I said, you will be a better coach if you spend some time in the summer refereeing.
Yes.
He did. He said, I'm a better coach. He said, I'm a better athletic director because I took your advice. But it was realizing that he was an advocate for his kids.
Yes.
I wasn't so bad. He wasn't the jerk that I thought he was. But great, we're human.
Yes.
You know, I think at the end of the day, you're human, I'm human, and we're in love with this game called basketball.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell me how you handle a coach on the sideline between an assertive one and then an emotional one.
You and I have had this conversation off air, so I will say it here. I listen to what coaches don't say.
Yeah.
That's the opener for me.
Yeah.
I listen to all that. Okay, what didn't you say to me? And that's where I'm going in the conversation. Well, you didn't talk about this. Is that a problem? No, we're good. Okay. I'm defining what it is you're really upset with.
Yeah.
I forget the tone. I listen to the words and the words you don't say. What gets you a technical foul? Profanity.
Correct.
If you cuss at me and other people here, I got no choice.
That's easy.
If you slam a clipboard down, I got no choice because everybody saw that.
Yep.
You kick the chair.
No choice.
But if you don't do any of those things and it's you and me, I can diffuse that because I'm listening to what you're saying to me.
Yes.
And then it's, okay, so what I think I'm hearing you say is we've not been consistent on ball handler, dribbler plays to the basket.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let me go talk to my crew. Isn't that what you really wanted me to do?
100%.
Bingo.
Absolutely.
And so now I've done it.
Yes. Like you said, I think it's something that our game needs to hear from your perspective, and I definitely needs to hear from a coach's perspective because what we see, we might be thinking that's not happening, but we know that you guys are communicating, whether it's verbal or nonverbal.
Absolutely.
You guys have talked about this game well before you threw that ball for a tip-off.
Absolutely.
And you know,
Absolutely.
you've done your homework on the sidelines on who you're dealing with, whether it's a coach and their team, or you're dealing with maybe a different parent section that you know going into this game, it's going to be a hostile environment.
Absolutely.
Where at East Lake, it's not going to be a hostile environment from a parent perspective. So in that case, you go, okay, X that out.
Yep.
You don't got to worry about that going to this one, but we do have to worry about X, Y, and Z. I love it because it's a refresher for our game that we love. And I think the more people need to understand that everyone that is in those four lines, even the ones a little bit outside the four lines, all have an end goal, and that's because they love being there. Nobody's getting paid millions of dollars to do this, but we are getting paid in spirit and love, and that's to continue to grow the game.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of someone that's not perfect and has said things from both sides, parent and coach,
Yeah.
you do feel like sometimes that they wouldn't hear you because that's why you feel comfortable saying it, because you act like, oh, you know what, they're not going to hear that.
Oh, yes, we do.
And I know for a fact because
Oh, yes, we do.
when you're in your coach's seat and when I'm coaching, it's kind of the same thing. That you hear parents, they may not think so, but when they say, why are you subbing little Billy in for my kid? You hear that.
Absolutely.
And it affects it.
Yeah,
So
it has an impact, doesn't it?
it's amazing. Again, I hope people understand it's not a separator. The same issues are all around the game. They're just in different lenses.
Those words need to be said to parents. They need to be said to officials.
Yeah.
Hey, I get it. I think your job is harder than mine.
Yeah.
Because when the game is over, I may not see your team and the other team again.
Right.
You have to keep seeing these kids, and you have to keep dealing with those parents. So our jobs are difficult.
Yes.
Just from different perspectives, but our jobs are difficult.
Very difficult.
So,
What do you think one thing for parents that they need to just stop doing when it comes to basketball games?
gosh,
I mean, you could probably go for an hour and a half.
I could
but-
probably. I think for parents, enjoy the process and enjoy the journey. You want your kid to have fun and enjoy what they're doing.
Yes.
And so as long as they're getting that from it, you should be happy.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to get every call right. You're not going to substitute every player, give every player the right amount of minutes.
Nope.
There's just too many variables in this to be perfect. So let's embrace that we're participating in an imperfect game.
Yes. Yep.
And we're trying to be perfect within an
Yes.
imperfect game.
Yeah.
And if we can realize that we're all here for the right reason. I want your son or daughter to have a good time.
Yeah. Yep.
And at the end of the day, what do we want our kids to learn?
Yeah.
We want our kids to learn to be able to play in the sandbox with others, right? Because
Huge.
that's a life lesson.
Yes, it is.
We want our kids to learn how to deal with failure. Success is easy. How do you deal with failure?
Yes.
You know, when you think about the state tournament, and someone said this to me, so it's not my own, I wish it was. There are only 6 teams that leave the state tournament with a trophy, with a first place trophy. Everybody else leaves with less.
Yes.
And it isn't about just winning.
No.
It's about all the other things to get there.
Yes, it is.
What are the life lessons that we're supposed to learn? How I deal with disappointment.
Yeah.
You know?
It's an ongoing
It is.
thing that's, but it's the beautiful part of why we love this basketball game.
Yes, sir.
It's beautiful about it. We're both big on culture, whether it's at all aspects of life.
Yeah.
We're big about culture, loving people, being honest with people. But I want to talk about players again.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about any advice that you have for them that you feel when they feel, oh, this ref's against me. And like you talked about with the example of you and your friend, as you thought, well, this guy's not going to like me. I've teed him up 5 games in a row that I've had him. Players I know feel that same way when they see, I remember as a player, I see a certain official, I go, that guy does not like me. And to be honest, that adult was 100% accurate of why they shouldn't like me. Very valid. But what kind of advice do you have for kids about that? Because I think it's again, as we make this connection with our game that's so beautiful, I think it's such a learning thing for young kids to understand that life lesson. When you see somebody that doesn't like you, or you have a certain thing that you feel, how can they fix it and communicate that?
Well, you said it. It's the life lesson.
Yeah.
The life lesson is you're going to go to work at XYZ company, and there are going to be people in that company that you don't like.
Yes.
But you are forced to work with them for whatever amount of time. So you have to put that piece aside because the job supersedes that.
Yes.
And the job now is this game.
Yep.
How do I navigate this official when I know he doesn't particularly care for me or my team?
Yep.
And I think it's respect.
Yeah.
If you can be respectful, that diffuses a lot of things.
Big time.
Because I can't do maybe what I want to do because you're being respectful. The phrase is killing them with kindness.
Yeah.
Continue to do that and be respectful. In a game where emotion is involved, sometimes that's the hardest part.
Yes, it is.
I say to coaches, you are an extension and your players are feeding off you.
Yes, they are.
And parents, you're an extension and your players are feeding off of you.
Yes, they are.
So when I hear my dad saying ridiculous things, and believe me, your son or daughter can hear your voice through all of the maze of noises and hears you, it has an impact.
Yes, it does.
And so we need to be cognizant of that and say, okay, I got to be careful what I say.
Yes, you do.
I need to be respectful to my teammates, my opponents, the officials. And that's what's going to get you through this, because this is the life lessons.
Yes,
Nick,
it is.
The
Yes.
life lesson.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have officiated a lot of really good basketball players,
Yeah.
whether it's on the men's side or the women's side.
Yeah.
What is one thing from an official standpoint that you've seen that sticks out when you see those elite players? It makes you go, that kid is special. And whether it's gifted or athletically, sometimes I feel like those same players have the other things to their game that you go, that's a special kid because of how they communicate, or that's a special kid because I just saw them bring their whole team together themselves and wrap their arms around each other. What are some things that you see from an official standpoint that you go, that's an elite basketball player?
There's one piece that makes every athlete from good to great. And you have to be a little bit obsessive about the game.
Yes, you do.
You've got to want it a little bit more. I think back, and it was before I started officiating, I was in the Renton High School gym one night after watching a playoff game. And this kid was putting up shots. There's nobody in the gym. I was waiting for the referees to come out. I hadn't started officiating. And this guy is putting shots up. And I walked over and I said, what are you doing? He said, I just got to get my shots up.
Wow.
And I go, well, what team do you play? He goes, well, my team's not playing, but I got to get my shots up. And we had about a 10-minute conversation, and then I walked off. And then later in life, I was refereeing the Jamal Crawford Summer League, and that same player would be Jamal Crawford.
Oh, wow.
And I remember that, and I walked up to him and I said, do you remember this?
Yeah.
And he goes, no, but I take your word for it. And here I was explaining this to him, and he goes, oh, wow. I said, Jamal, the reason you're what you are is this obsession that you had, that you had to get up shots.
Yes.
And you said, I have to get up 200 more shots every night. And here you were in this gym getting 200 more shots, and it wasn't your school, but you were trying to get up more shots. And I thought, okay, you're special.
Yes.
You're special. There are other athletes that bring, it's not about them.
Exactly.
It's about us. And you see that. And it touches you in a way because you realize just how special they are. Because it wasn't about them.
Right.
It was about my team. And, you know, I've probably seen 100 of those in my career.
Yeah.
And when you see where they go, you're not surprised because you saw them in that moment and you went, that's what we're talking about. Isaiah Thomas would be another one of those.
Yeah.
You know, I saw him, he and my daughter grew up together. And I saw him. I remember telling his dad, Keith, I go, that kid's special.
Yeah, really.
He's special.
Yes.
So.
I love it. I absolutely love it. In the heat of a game, and the game's going on, things are going crazy, competition is really high level. Yeah. What does respect look like to you when there's a high level basketball game going on?
Again, your ability to diffuse yourself as a coach and stay focused on the moment.
Yeah.
That player that has that ability to self-diffuse. My last high school game was 2015, and I worked the beach O'Day game. And I had Mike Bethea and Jason Kerr a million times.
Yeah.
Maybe not a million times, but enough.
Yeah.
And Jason was one of his better coaching jobs because Michael Carter was his best player, and he was playing with a bunch of freshmen. And Kevin Porter Jr. and Sam Conliffe were on the beach team, and they were loaded. And we had gotten to the media timeout, and the outcome was pretty much decided. The media timeout in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And Kerr had beaten them in districts. And I remember walking over and Jason saying, Michael, if you allow them to continue to do this, it's going to be a 40-point game. And he could have said that in so many ways, but he said it to me exactly like that. And I remember walking back over to my crew saying, we're letting too much go.
Yeah.
And this game could get out of hand really quick. And so we put a few more fouls in the game. The right team ended up winning. Beach ended up winning. Yeah. I think Jason had resigned himself to that. But it ended up being less than a 20-point game.
Yeah.
And it was, he could have come at me in a whole different way, but he came at me that way. And I appreciated it because he wasn't combative.
Right.
He just said, hey, our kids can't play through that.
Yeah.
And we were seeing it in real time. They weren't playing through that contact. And I remember walking over to Dave King and Harold Wright saying, hey, they can't play through this, and we got to put whistles on this. And I said, so you tell Mike, we got to put whistles on that stuff. Your players are good enough to play defense without putting hands on.
Absolutely.
And I remember we put 2 more fouls in out of the media timeout. And I looked over at Mike Bethea, and Mike nodded his head, and his kids stopped hand checking. So it's how do you come to me at the end of the day? It's how you approach me.
Yes.
So that we're not on the defensive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, as we transition, right, you just talked about one of your last high school games, and now you're in this mentorship role.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what you do now.
Well, when I retired in 2022 from actively being on the court, I spent several months figuring out what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Basketball had been a part of my life.
Absolutely.
Not just the officiating, but, as we said earlier, as a player, and what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And, fortunately for me, some of my peers had retired a few years before me. They were now in assigner roles. And they had said, you would be a great observer. Would you consider observing for me? And I said, sure. And so I started off with the idea that I was going to come into the gym, observe referees, go in the locker room, give them feedback, and leave. But I realized that wasn't me.
Yeah.
And that I would have a hard time just leaving it there. And fortunately for me, those assigners were comfortable with me kind of expanding my role. And so the title was observer, but everyone knew he does more than observe.
Absolutely.
And then referees started coming to me saying, would you come watch my game? Would you come give me feedback? And then I looked up and I was in the gym for 60 games in a season, which was about what I was refereeing. Just wasn't getting paid the same money. But I was getting fed the way I needed to be fed. And I felt like I was a part of the game. And then about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer, I realized I wanted to do even more with it. And so I went back to those same peers who were assigners and said, hey, would you teach me how to assign?
Yeah.
I think I could be good at this.
Yes.
And I think I could give more if I were in that position. And so fortunately for me, they were not threatened by that ask and said, I'm going to share with you and teach you everything I know. And so to have the GNAC Division II, the small college and the community college assigners pouring into me and giving me additional responsibilities, it's allowed me to, put the needle in the vein.
Yeah.
And I've been able to give back a little bit more.
Yes.
Or maybe I should say a lot more.
A lot, yeah. Let's talk about parents. I think parents are, as me being a young parent with kids getting into the game, you've been doing this for 30 plus years. You've seen probably every single parent that there is, the great ones, the not so good ones, and there's really bad ones. Not parenting, but moments that youth sports bring things out of you as a parent.
Yeah.
Talk about their behaviors and how that affects not only the game, but the officiating part of it when you're trying to just do your job.
Well, when we're talking about, we'll start off at the grassroots level with AAU basketball. Everybody there is passionate about the game.
Absolutely.
And let's really focus in on why we're here, what it's all about, what we want our sons and daughters to learn from the game, whether it's soccer or basketball. What is it we want them to learn from this? Our kids hear our voices. We have trained them to hear our voice.
Yes.
As someone, my better half, we were talking about how our dogs respond to our voice.
Yeah.
So they've learned to hear us. Hold on a second, buddy.
You're good.
I don't want to answer that. We have trained them to respond to our voice, which means kids hear their parents.
Yeah.
More so than they hear the coach, right? And so because of that, jeez, Nick.
Well, you're popular. What do you expect?
Oh my gosh. And because of hearing that, we listen,
Yeah.
right? So how do we fix that?
Exactly.
Your role as a parent, in my opinion, I raised two daughters that played sports, is to support them and cheer them on. That's our goal.
Yes.
Support them, cheer them on. That's it. You let the coach them. You don't coach them because the kid is going to defer to you in your voice more so than the coach that's sitting right next to them.
Absolutely.
So just cheer them on. Be supportive to them whether they're not doing well or they are doing well.
Yes.
I remember hearing some parents yelling and screaming about traveling in an AAU game. And they just kept yelling about it. So I walked over and I said, guess what? The only thing I want to hear you guys talk about tonight is traveling. So you can't yell about fouls. You can't yell about legal screens. You can only yell about traveling. Oh, and by the way, I need you to yell traveling every time your kids travel. So if I don't hear you yell travel when your kids travel, then I don't want to hear you at all.
Right. That was humbling.
And that whole section went, whoop, because you couldn't say it about your own, but you could say it about theirs.
Yes.
And it was really more a lesson of, we hear you, you're affecting this game and not helping us.
Yes.
What is your son or daughter, what is their goal for participating in high school sports? Does every kid want to go on and play in college? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But you've got to allow your kids to go through the process. And part of the process is failing.
Yeah.
And part of the process is not getting the outcome that you wanted, even though you worked really, really hard.
Right.
Right? So remember that your son or daughter hears you.
Yes.
And what is it you want them to hear? And that's
really powerful because I can tell you when I first started coaching my oldest, who's 10.
I don't know how you do that.
It was 2 years ago. We just put a team together, just starting. I coached it just because I thought, okay, this will be fun. It's very beginning, it's not serious. But I learned really fast that it wasn't healthy. And I think what I've learned the most, just because I've been very blessed to be able to see so much at 35 years old and being able to do this year round, is what you're talking about. That voice is really important, because I know if I would have tried to continue to coach my kid and then stopped and then was on the sideline, if I would have said one word, their eyes would directly go to me when they should be going to the coach. And that was the biggest lesson I learned. And I'm glad it was at a very not serious moment in their athletic career, more importantly, just their life.
Yeah.
That I realized, if I go to the parent side, they're gonna be looking at me a lot, and that's the last thing that I want. I want them focused on Michael, who's coaching my kid.
Yes.
Because, and that's been the biggest reward for Brianna and I, is they don't look at us at all. They're worried about their team and their coach. So I think it's really powerful what you said, because it's really, really true. Because that voice is strong in their heads. When they've heard it,
oh my God,
it sticks.
Your child hears the tone of disappointment. They hear the tone of happiness and success.
Yeah.
They can differentiate. And that resonates. I was working a game at Mount Tahoma High School years ago, and there was a dad in the stands who was just ridiculous in the things that he said.
Yeah.
And so I was about to give him one, and I decided that I was going to go to the captain and see if I could ascertain who this dad was. And I walked up to the kid and I said, by the way, whose dad is that up there? Oh my God, I'm about to send him out.
Yeah.
And the kid's head dropped. And I said, well, do you know whose dad it is? And he goes, it's my dad. He goes, and he won't stop. And I said, well, I was about to send him out of here. What do you suggest I do? And the kid said, send him out of here.
Oof.
And I said, are you sure? He goes, yes, sir. So the next time the guy barked, we sent him out. As soon as he left the confines of the gym, that kid started playing like he had never played before.
Probably a sign of relief for him.
Because it was a sign of relief for him to be able to play. And as we were leaving the floor, heading to our locker room where we dressed in their locker room, when we came out, the kid was still standing there. And he said, I just want to thank you. He said, this was the most fun I've had in 2 years of playing here at Mount Tahoma. And I thought, what a sad commentary.
Yes.
That parent was not bringing joy to a game that this kid clearly loved, and it took me throwing him out of the gym for the kid to find joy and success. So, parents, be encouraging to your students, your sons, your daughters. That's what's going to get the best out of them.
Yeah, it's such a, like you said, a sad story, but it's such a real story. It happens every day in our game.
Every day.
With parents trying to continue to just push a narrative on these poor kids that, like you said, the ball stops bouncing for everybody at some point. So the last thing I want as a parent is when it does stop bouncing and it goes flat, that my kid wants no part of me.
It's not worth it.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
Let's talk about bettering our culture with our game. And let's talk about what we kind of briefly talked about offline with uniting our game as a core with the players, the parents, the coaches, the officials. How do we get on the same page, and what are some things that we all can do better? And I think how you have experienced and said so many things in this episode, I think is going to help a lot. But what are some things that we can do let's get our game back.
Collectively,
because unfortunately, we're a divided world right now. There's a lot of hate out here.
Yeah.
And I think it's trickled down to our daily habits,
It has.
which affects our daily world. It affects the bigger picture of these poor kids that are, they are the one that's going to suffer from this, not us.
Nick, without question, I think realizing that, and as you and I talked about this offline, you have officials, you have players, you have coaches, and you have parents. And officials walk into the gym thinking it's 3 versus 1.
Mm-hmm.
And any official that said something to the contrary would not be being honest with you.
Right.
So if I walk in thinking that the 3 of you hate me, then I come at you with that mindset that you hate me.
Mm-hmm.
And we have such a negative opinion about referees, officials, because they're forced to adjudicate the rules of the game.
Yeah.
And sometimes the decision making affects the outcome and it affects your experience. And I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to remember that this is a learning environment, that we took the classroom and we moved it to the basketball court. It is still a classroom. When mom and dad dropped off their son or daughter to play in this game, you handed them off to the coach to teach, and you handed them off to me to teach. And at the end of the game, we hand them back to you to continue the process. And on Monday morning, you hand those kids back to the teachers and they do it. We're continually teaching these kids. How do we go about doing that? Is to remember what our role is. That we're all teaching.
Yep.
We're all educators. That's what we're doing. We're teaching kids that you can battle adversity.
Yes.
And adversity looks different.
In everybody's eyes.
In everyone's eyes. How do you handle adversity? I put gas in the car. I always did the oil changes. I changed the filters. I did all that, and my car still broke down on 405. What's the learning lesson? Well, that things happen to good people regardless of whether you do everything you're supposed to do or not.
Absolutely.
That's the lesson.
It's life.
It's life.
Yeah.
That's the lesson.
Yeah.
So we have to keep reminding that here's the goal. The fun thing about being friends with you is I get to hear things from your side, which helps me teach referees.
Right.
Hey, let me tell you how these decisions impact. You can't come to this game not willing to teach and be a steward of the game because there's a lot of people depending upon you.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people depending upon you. And I keep reminding them that because what did you say earlier? The ball eventually stops bouncing.
Yes.
For me, there was finally a moment where you take the shirt off for the last time. How am I leaving this game? Some don't know it's their last game.
No, you don't. No.
So how am I leaving it? I want to be reminded that I was a good educator and a good teacher and a good steward in this game.
Yeah.
So every time I come to this game, that's my mindset. And every parent who's watching this that has a kid or a dog in the fight, that's what you got to remember.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope at this point in your career that you are getting all that love that you deserve, because I know when you walk in the gym, not only myself, but a lot of people, when you come in the gym, love the fact that you're just there because of what you do for our game.
I love the game, Nick.
You love the game.
Yeah.
And it's not just the game, like you said, you're an amazing teacher and you love to teach.
I love to educate.
Yes.
As you know, I want to raise the floor. If we can raise the floor in this piece to make the game better because we're better communicators, and that's what you want.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, as we kind of slowly wrap this thing up, let's talk about what the game has taught you through officiating. What is something, I know could be a laundry list.
Yeah.
Talk about a couple things that officiating has taught you that you will continue to carry with you today, whether it's in your life or how you mentor people with what you do, whether it's sports in the 21st century, it's one pivotal move. Talk about those things that you do that help other people and what you took with you.
You know, my mom has taught school for 45 years.
Yeah.
And she said she knew at 9 that she wanted to be a teacher. I think I have taken on some of that. You want to teach and you want to educate people to improve this world, improve sports, improve communication between parents and kids, kids and coaches, officials and coaches. So just improving how we communicate with each other and how we can be better at this is my piece. When you talk about sports in the 21st century, it's about educating people. When I first started thinking about that concept, it was 20 some years ago. And it came from creating an all-star game before high school all-star games were so prevalent.
Right.
And the first one we did was called the In the Paint Classic.
Okay.
And we did it at PLU, and it was the best of King County versus the best of Pierce County. And of the 52 all-state players at the classifications, I somehow was lucky enough to get 48 of the players.
Wow.
On the boys and the girls side, which turned out to be 2 incredibly amazing games.
Absolutely.
And that event just continued to grow for several years. What I would tell people when they asked me why I did it, I said, well, it's job security. If I can get these kids to college, then I'll always have games to referee.
Yeah.
But the reality is that I wanted kids to have an opportunity to play up the next level if they so wanted to. I then realized along this path, Nick, is that it's hard to play at the next level.
Yes, very hard.
It's hard to play high school from junior high.
Yes, it is.
Right? Because there are fewer spots. And it's hard to play from high school to college. And so wanting to educate student athletes and parents, what's it really take to play at the college level?
Yeah.
And does your son or daughter have what it takes to play at that level? And I think at the end of the day, what I feel I'm really good at now is being a conduit. Being able to bring those together.
Yes.
And educate. And so by our friendship, I bring this referee piece to you, which allows you to understand it better.
Way better.
And if I can continue to do that, then I'm helping referees get closer to parents and coaches. And I'm helping us move this game to the next, wherever the next place is going to be.
Yes.
Not sure quite where that is, but where the next place is going to be. So hopefully that answered that.
Absolutely. Obviously, this is called Purpose Over Points. What does that mean to you? And I want, if you are willing to share, you have just went through a very tragic thing.
Yeah.
And we talk about the ball stops bouncing, and we talk about the scoreboard of life a lot in this.
Yeah.
Well, what you went through was a blink of an eye of something that could stop. Elaborate on this if you don't mind.
In the matter of seconds, my life flashed in front of my eyes. Driving northbound on I-5, a tire came off a trailer on the vehicle in front of us. I'm driving between 65 and 70. We hit the tire, the vehicle flips, and we slide 100 to 150 yards down I-5 on the passenger side of the car. There were some moments during this episode, and I will tell you that everything started moving slowly. There were items in the car that were flying through the car as we slid down the freeway. When we ultimately stopped, we were facing southbound on the northbound side of the freeway. Oh. And I knew the car was coming to hit us. I knew cars were coming to hit us. So at that moment, I started saying goodbye to my children and all my friends because I knew I was about to die. And so that moment of, this isn't how I saw the end. Yeah. Here's the end. Yeah. Except there is no impact. And the reason there was no impact is partly it was a beautiful sunny day. The other part, it was 1:45 in the afternoon and not 3:45 or 4:45, where there would have been more traffic. Right. When you get out of the vehicle after this experience, you don't realize it because the car was several hundred feet away from us, right, and I didn't have a chance to look at it. We were in the emergency room for 4.5 hours, being poked and prodded. They determined that we had bruised ribs, we had concussions, we had whiplash, but nothing was broken. But it wasn't until 5 days later when we went to the tow yard to pick up the stuff out of the car and we had a chance to see the vehicle.
It hits.
And then you realize, I'm not supposed to be here.
Right.
This vehicle, everything on the exterior of this vehicle, everything that's on the inside of the vehicle says, I'm not supposed to be here. We aren't supposed to be here.
Right.
And so I remembered that life changes in just a matter of seconds. We don't have control over the end.
No.
We don't know when the end is coming. When I retired from officiating on March 19th, 2022, I knew that was the end.
Right.
Because I picked it. I picked that to be the end. It was easy to prepare for that because I knew.
Right.
But we don't know.
No.
In most things in our lives, we don't know.
No, we don't.
I remind people that we all have an expiration date written on us somewhere. You just don't know where it's written.
Right.
And you don't know the date. The man upstairs wasn't ready to call us home.
You're not done.
Not done.
Nope.
Got more stuff to do.
Yes, you do.
But I think it was a call to make sure that my phone was working and that I would answer if the phone rang, and I did, so that the next phone call he makes, I'll be ready. But I got a lot of stuff to do until the next phone call.
Absolutely.
What does it make me do differently? Don't put off tomorrow what you could do today. Cherish those relationships.
Yes.
The word you and I use often is intentionality. You and I are intentional with our friendship. For most men, and I will tell the audience I'm 65 years old, so my generation as a man, we didn't talk about emotion. We didn't say we loved other men because there was something about saying that.
Or something.
We didn't show the visual emotion that you see now because that's not what you do. And that really challenged your manhood. You're not really a man if you're shedding a tear and you're not really a man. Well, there are very few times I get off the phone with you that we don't say I love you.
Exactly.
Because I could have easily 3 weeks ago have never been able to say it to you again, or it's now a month ago. Intentionality. Let's be intentional with the things we do.
Yeah, so powerful.
Let's hug those that are important to us because it's important. Let's not just say the words, but mean the words. Sorry for the emotion.
No, it's...
There's your lesson.
Well, I love you.
You know I love you, my friend.
And I know God has huge plans. And I thank God every night since that has happened.
Yeah.
that you are here with us.
I'm still here.
And your better half is still here with us.
Still here.
And I am grateful for you sharing that. I know it's not an easy thing. It's very new and very fresh still.
Still tender. Yeah.
And I just want to thank you for your friendship.
Yeah.
And it's a huge thing to say that I love you, because it is one thing that to say it, but it's another thing to show it with action behind it. Because when you hear those words, I love you, from man to man, it hits in a different way, in a powerful way, because I know that you have my back, and I know I have your back, and I also know that I can call you and you can call me at any hour, and I know you're gonna pick the phone up.
Yep.
And it's something that I've learned from you. I lost my father in a blink of an eye, but the last words I said to him was, I love you. And I will never forget it, because it was something he told me it was that important to do, to walk your day, to know that my daughter was born on March 18th. It was the greatest day of my life at that point.
Yeah.
And for him to have a granddaughter at that point, that was the greatest day for him. 2 weeks later, for him to die in his sleep, God showed me what he meant. And I'm just grateful that I've got someone like you, who is like a father figure to me, as of you, Michael, that continues to share the love that you share for not only myself, but for so many people. So I thank you for everything.
Buddy, it's been a pleasure. This relationship is certainly two ways. You keep me young. You remind me of how important family is and how you do your daily life. The way you coach those kids at Eastlake is the way you coach those kids here. The way you love on your wife and your children. It is such a pleasure for me to see that. The things that you are going to contribute to this world moving forward, I just can't wait to see those things. Nick, we need 100,000 more of you in a world where we don't have enough.
Yeah.
We need them, and we need you. So I want you, and you know I always encourage you, to just keep doing what you're doing and giving to this space called our world, our Pacific Northwest, in the way you're giving it. Because we're better with you here doing what you're doing. Basketball has given me more than I can ever give it back. I will be forever repaying basketball for what it's given me.
Yes.
It's why I'm still involved in it in the role or capacity I am now, is because I could no longer give it on the court the way I wanted to.
Right.
But I'm still able to give back to something that's been so good to me.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna be in the gym until he calls me to officiate upstairs.
Yes.
And then I'll go up there. I'll go up there and work.
Yeah.
But until he calls me to come officiate up there, I want to continue to be a steward and be a part of this game.
Yeah.
And so I'm blessed.
Yeah.
Today was another blessing.
Yes.
I got up this morning, and people may laugh, but you know, the alternative a month ago was,
It's not it.
may not have been it.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank you for your time.
always, my friend.
It's been nothing but a pleasure.
Love you.
I love you. And
Yeah.
everybody else, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Again, thank you very much.
Always.
Give me a hug, my
Oh,
man.
of course. My God. I love you, man.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.